Hi, I'm Scott Stein, and this is the HP EliteBook Folio 9470M. Now, we're in an interesting time for laptops because, especially with Windows 8, you've got a lot of these touch convertible jobbies all over the place. Do you get on board with that, or do you go with a traditional laptop? Well, HP's laptop, which debuted at the end of last year, really tries to take the conservative approach. This is a Ultrabook, but it's a large-boned one that's thicker than maybe you'd expect compared to a MacBook Air. But it's got a lot of security features and ports and connections, and it's meant for businesses. So it's got vPro and all that stuff. I mean, it's really a business laptop. And you can tell because instead of HDMI, there's DisplayPort on here. And that's one of the main port differentiators when you talk about business versus a consumer laptop. It's also expensive. This is $1349 for the configuration that we reviewed. That fits in with other laptops in this category. Now, the ThinkPad Carbon X1, now that which was reviewed in both a touch and non-touch configuration, is about that same price range. And maybe you think about something like the thinner 13-inch Retina display MacBook Pro that gets you up to an even higher level. A lot of the things that these have in common, that MacBook Pro has a full voltage processor, but these have Ultrabook level Core i5 and i7 CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM in this one, and 180 gigabyte SSD. You can also get a standard hard drive in this, or go the SSD route, which costs a little bit more. Now, one thing you'll notice that's not on here, hey, no touch. That's right, this is a touch-free laptop. And that's not so great if you want to deal with effortless navigating because, hey, you're free not to use touch. And I admit, sometimes it feels like a bit of a gimmick. But then you better make your trackpad really, really good. Like MacBook Air level good, because those are great trackpads. And the one that this HP Folio has is okay, it's not great. It's a glass trackpad. The way it interfaces with Windows 8 software is all right. But at least the 4 buttons above and below don't cramp the space much. And for those who love your little rubber nubbin touch point thing, whatever you want to call them, there's one in here situated amid the backlit keyboard between the G, H, and B keys, and it works pretty well. This is only a 1366 by 768 resolution display, and it is matte, but the general image quality doesn't look all that great, especially compared to a lot of higher resolution screens. So that's a knock against it, although the construction quality feels great. Lightweight, magnesium and aluminum, 3.6 pounds, which is kind of similar to that ThinkPad X1 Carbon, but you know, it feels a little thicker and larger than your average super thin, although probably weight-wise feels like it's right in that territory. So there you go, that's a mouthful. I mean, I reviewed the HP Folio 13 last year, and this is kind of like the bigger brother to that. At the time, I thought that was a great Ultrabook. Really, really stood out because of its reliability and its ports. But a lot of time's gone by. I mean, what this has going for it is, again, extra ports, Ethernet, and the fact this is a 7-hour battery life. So there you go. That's a pretty big honking battery life on an Ultrabook. You like that? Maybe you want to consider this. But I would say we're in a bit of a transitional period. You might want to wait and see what comes down the pike, including the HP EliteBook Revolve, which is a cool swivel screen touch one that I looked at CES. That's a look at the HP EliteBook Folio 9470M, a business laptop, which you could use too.